Hey guys, welcome to the Coffee and Coaching Podcast. I am Coach Kamara.
I'm Coach Jack G. We hope you enjoy today's episode. We hope you take a lot of value away from it, and we might even make you laugh a little bit.
We started this podcast to help empower and inspire you to take control and create the life that you want to lead.
But remember, everything we say is our opinion. We're not medical professionals. So if we talk about anything that you want to implement into your life, please go and speak to your doctor first.
If you enjoy the episode and you enjoy the podcast, please subscribe, share it with anyone that you think might take value from it. And if you can share it on your social media, it would be massively, massively appreciated.
That's enough of that. Let's get into today's episode. Welcome back. Story time again. Yeah, we're going to go back in because we ran out of time on the last ones. We've got 5 stories each and we didn't really...
Yeah, we did 2 each. But I feel like when you tell the story, you can't just move on. We've got to break it down and speak about it. So it took a bit longer than we thought. So we've done 2. We've got 3 more to get through.
Yeah.
In this episode. And Jack, it's you, lad.
It's me.
Oh, also, we've got no coffee today because
it is the same day.
This is the same
It's the
day.
last episode.
5 minutes later.
Yeah.
We're still caffeinated, so don't worry.
That's showbiz. Should have brought to change the t-shirt.
I know, I was actually thinking that. I just thought, don't want to be
because
too
we're
much
not
of a
about that.
muppet.
We're not Muppets. We'll just tell you,
Just tell you how it is, lad.
we're not trying to blag it or nothing. No. We're here all day. We're in deep today. We might need another coffee. So, yeah, my next story is about me being an idiot, basically. Again, a lot of my stories relate to the army. It's where I've done a lot of my growing up, because I spent a long time there. But it's that same, like I say it all the time. I speak to people doing this all of the time, and you're probably one of them if you listen to this. You've done it with something to do with your training, your diet, your nutrition, whatever. Diet and nutrition, same sentence. Is what it is. So I just got into training. It was just after the Fat Jack phase. Went to Afghan, 6 months in Afghan, and we had a gym there because it was a cushy Afghan. It was like, didn't really have to do much. It was a little bit boring, actually. And we'd go to the gym most days, and I was getting knee pain, but got a squat. Need big legs, so you got a squat. But my knees are hurting, so not going to go in. One, I'm not going to say I'm injured, because you don't say you're injured in the army. You just shut up about it and carry on until it breaks. So much so that the physio told my mate who had a really bad hamstring injury, I can't do nothing about it until it breaks. So go away, keep doing what you're doing, and then when something goes wrong, come back to me. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. That's that's
That's the army.
That's the way it's set up. Yeah. Unless you're broken, we can't fix it.
That's mad.
Unless you're like fully broken, we can't fix it. Which will tie nicely into my final story, which is the biggest one. So remember that point. So knees were just getting worse and worse and worse and worse, and I was basically just taking painkillers and strapping my knees tighter and tighter with knee wraps for like months, maybe a year, maybe longer. Was up to squatting like 3 plates aside, 4 plates aside, and was in like excruciating pain then afterwards. But it was just like, it's fine. It's because the squats are heavy, that's why. Smart logic. And then I woke up one morning, couldn't bend me leg. This is after we got back from Afghan.
Just couldn't even bend it.
Couldn't bend it. No swelling, no bruising, no nothing. Just woke up the next day, couldn't bend it.
Wow.
Couldn't put any weight on it. Nothing. And went to physio. And they were basically like, yeah, you've got tendinopathy, which is like chronic tendinitis. So opathy is if it's prolonged, essentially. Itis is inflammation in whatever. So tendinitis is like an inflamed tendon. It was patella tendon, so the single tendon that connects all of the muscles in your upper leg to your shin, which is a fantastic little tendon, isn't it? Like, it's doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's doing a serious amount of work.
Hey, you're onto that fucking patella tendon.
You're onto that patella tendon, lad. It's heavy, that patella tendon.
It's half heavy, isn't it?
We've just been speaking about that before we started recording. Like, we were talking with your mate, weren't we? Or was he a client? The guy who's
Who?
the marketing. He's just on the marketing degree.
Yeah.
And he was saying like that like everyone who's Scouse who like does well is just Scouse and it's just themselves. And I was like talking to Rach about it, saying like I might just like embrace all of the Scouse phrases that I don't really use, but like a lot of my mates do. Like, you're on that, to something that everyone's blatantly onto is my favourite one. Like, you're on that Snowden, that fucking heavy, that, you know.
The most
sick,
common.
you know? Yeah.
You're on that Snowden.
You're
Yeah,
on that
I mean, it's
Snowden.
only like the biggest mountain.
Yeah, it's only like one of the biggest mountains in the UK.
fucking
It's like
vicinity,
Wales' biggest mountain. I think it's the second highest peak in
Of
the
course, I'm
UK.
fucking onto it. How can you possibly not be onto Snowden? Like,
You're onto them walks in the lakes, lad. They're fucking heavy, them, you know. Or like someone like a big sport and like, you're onto that Messi.
he's half heavy.
He's half heavy, you know, like half heavy. Oh, he's one of the best football players that's ever existed. Well, he's half heavy.
He's not fully heavy.
He's not fully heavy. No. Like, what have you got to be fully heavy? In Liverpool, like, what's got to happen? Well, actually, that's the maddest thing about it, right? And this is why I love...
Someone's unbelievably good at something, they're half heavy, but
Yeah.
if something just absolutely mediocre happens, heavy that.
Yeah. Or it's shit. Like, it's something proper bad. Like... Wow, heavy that. Like, you could be sat there and like, say you were just driving along and then there's a big pile up in front of you. Wow, heavy that. Like, that's heavy, but half heavy, this it. Imagine you didn't come from Liverpool, you'd be like, what are you on about?
What are you talking about?
How does that make sense? Funny that.
Yeah, that
You're on that
patella
Snowden.
tendon's heavy, that.
Yeah, so you're
Half
on that
heavy.
patella tendon, right? So that patella tendon is heavy. Does major work. Puts grafting. What was I saying about it? Yeah, so I went in and they scanned it and everything and they were like, it's basically nearly snapped.
Fucking
Like
hell.
it was like, it had like a partial tear like halfway through or something. So I basically couldn't use my legs. I couldn't train legs for like 6 to 8 months.
Wow.
So this right leg ended up being half the size of the left one because I had to go through loads of rehab stuff, like literally like single leg extension, isometrics, just holding it for 10 seconds and then dropping it back down and building that up. And to be fair, the guy that I worked with in the army, ERI, Ian, and there was another guy, what was he called? So there's a physio in the ERI, he was exercise rehab instructor. He was sick. He was massive into his sports conditioning, strength and conditioning. And he knew I was into like me training and stuff. So like I had pick his brain loads and it was sick. And that's where I started to learn about like injuries and learn more about training. And he put me in the direction of like actual useful non-Instagram, non-YouTube stuff that I could go and learn from. But took me so long to get back. Like even now they're not right.
I know.
You know, like they're not right. And it's took me so long. But even then when I was rehabbing them, why they're still not right now is because I wouldn't let my ego go. I wouldn't drop my ego. And that was the biggest lesson that I learned, was that your ego doesn't serve you at all. Whether it's an injury, whether it's the type of diet that you follow, whether it's the fact that you don't know what you're doing and you're shadow boxing in the gym. Like whatever it is, like your ego doesn't serve you at all.
Yeah.
And like as soon as you learn to just let that go, you can progress.
Maybe not even let it go. 'Cause I actually, with the term ego, I think it's a valuable thing, an evolutionary thing that we do need. But you need to be able to recognise what's you and what's your ego and create some space between the two. And tap into your ego when you need to. And also step away from it 90% of the time.
Yeah.
So I do think it is valuable sometimes.
I think
If you completely dissolve your ego, someone could come in and just absolutely like murder your whole family and rob your house and take all your money. And if you had no ego, you'd just let it happen and be like, yeah, it's sound.
I think no, but that taps into like self-assurance.
That's like an extreme dissolving of the ego.
Yeah, but like I mean ego where you're like above your station. Like I don't need to do that. I'm too good for rehab. Rehab's fucking stupid. I don't need to learn about protein. I don't need to learn about calories. Like
Yeah. Well,
And then
our
there's a difference
our
of-
definitions of ego. Yeah, defining is that. Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
it off. Get rid of it.
like when you talk about your ego as like almost like arrogance, like refusal to accept the things that you. I do this every episode.
What?
Every episode, if I got a hair in my mouth, I can't get it. Oh my God.
Something black on your lip now.
That's what it was.
I just pray that everyone just stops listening to this and goes onto YouTube to watch.
Yeah, to watch.
Happened
What was that?
to Jack's face.
Anyway, 3, 2, 1, we're back in the room. I don't even know what I was talking about now.
No,
Fucking hell.
ego.
Talking about ego.
Defining things. Ego. We should have had a longer break, lad. We needed another
I
coffee.
need another coffee. Don't we? Do they deliver? Yeah, like your ego is in like arrogance. Like arrogance doesn't serve you. And I know you'd probably say, well, some arrogance does, but I mean like arrogance, being self-assured, like I am good at what I do. That's not arrogance. I am. I know I am because I've got proof of it. But going past that of like, I'm so good, I don't need to learn anything off anyone ever. Well, that doesn't serve you. Do you know what I mean? And it's finding that balance of like, that's where I was at. Was that like, remember the graph we talked about what you actually know and what you think you know, and how they change the longer you go into whatever it is that you're doing.
It's the best graph ever.
I absolutely
I've experienced that firsthand.
Yeah, I think we both have. Like in the fit, like remember what I was like when we started working together? I was like the guru of I know absolutely everything about fitness, and now I won't speak about something if I'm not 100% certain about it.
Yeah,
like
well,
I get a bit nervous going onto our podcast now.
Yeah,
or even like an Instagram thing, just in case what I say might not be 100%.
Yeah,
right. Do you know
Which
what I mean?
is like a healthy amount of imposter syndrome, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, an accountable level of imposter syndrome.
Just to make sure.
Just check yourself a little bit.
Just check yourself every now and then.
Because there's been a couple of podcasts where we've done where I've gone, I'm not going to carry on speaking about this. Let's change the subject because I need to go and read up about it before we talk anymore about this. Because it's been a while since we've touched on this.
Yeah, same. I think that is healthy though.
Yeah.
But I've been exactly like that. I remember like in school, I was quite clever and I knew everything. And school just teaches you to like learn stuff and be good at exams. It doesn't really teach you how to learn.
Yeah.
It just teaches you how to, well, I've just said, it teaches you how to learn stuff, be good at exams. It doesn't teach you how to
remember stuff.
Teach you how to memorise
information for the test.
You do well on the test and then you come out of the test thinking that you know everything about biology or maths or whatever it is. And then you come into the real world and you're like, oh shit.
How do I actually apply that?
I don't know anything really.
Yeah.
Like, but when you have had all smoke blown up your ass by these exam scores, you think that you know fucking everything. So you start like telling people things. Going back to what we were saying in the last episode, like when you know a little bit of information, you see these dickheads who are like bodybuilders and they think they know everything about training. You actually know the bare minimum.
Yeah.
You just happen to have taken loads of drugs and you've trained really consistently. You've done everything really well. And now you're massive.
And you've got a really intelligent coach.
Yeah.
Like,
and you now think that you know everything about bodybuilding, so you feel that you can speak and assert whatever you say is as evidence and is something that cannot be refuted. And actually it's completely wrong, but your understanding is so low that you don't even know how wrong you are.
Yeah.
That's where I was when I first started. And then you start to actually learn stuff. And then you're like, oh shit, this is so vast, this is so big, this is so unbelievably expansive that I don't even, like I'm not even scratching the surface on what I could know. And then when you start to learn more and more and more, that gets even bigger and you start to realise how much shit you actually don't know. And then you get to a certain level where you're like, right, I do know a fair amount now, but there's still so much.
Yeah.
No one will ever, not one human on this planet will ever understand any subject 100%.
No.
And even if you get the number one person in any discipline, their ideas will still be able to be argued against.
Yeah. 100%, which is
in anything, in bodybuilding,
again,
in psychology, in maths. Like
you can't get to that level without letting your ego go.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Without letting that arrogance.
Yeah.
Because it is arrogance, isn't it? To think that I don't need to know anymore, or like my viewpoints can't be questioned, or like this might be wrong. Yeah.
You'll never be able to get to the top or get to any level of success without the help of other people. So even like the brightest mind, let's say you have two individuals who are equally as intelligent and they research one certain area and they become unbelievably like well versed in all of the current literature in let's say psychology, and this one person has the arrogance and they think they know everything, so they just stop.
Yeah.
And so the person is still a little bit inquisitive, they're still a little bit curious, and they start actually, with the unbelievable level of knowledge that they've acquired and their synoptic understanding, they start looking at the literature and going, actually, is that right? Maybe we can question a few of these things. And then they run more studies, and then they actually go, oh, that's wrong. And that person goes above the other person, and then they become the best, they become more successful because they had that curiosity. They were willing to step out of what they thought was correct and step outside of themselves.
You see it in fitness all the time. You see it in we see it in at a top level. So you're talking about like psychology, you're talking about like human with neuroscience. He's been doing it 40 odd years, I think,
Probably.
hasn't he?
His whole life.
Yeah. He might get like an undergrad student come through with a new idea.
Yeah.
He won't just go, you've only just got into neuroscience, mate, go away. He'll look at it, and if it's good, he'll be like, wow, yeah, let's look into that more.
Yeah.
Step into the gym. Wow, you're using bands. Why are you using bands for? Ronnie didn't use bands. Arnie didn't use bands. And if that closed off, like, I don't need to know what that is.
Yeah.
It's stupid because it challenges what I know about training. So it must be stupid, it must be wrong, and you've only just started training. So you're new in this gym, so...
My arms are bigger than yours, so I know more than you.
Yeah, and it's like...
What?
Just think what you could... Like, yeah, you're bigger than me, well done. You want to be bigger than me, that's your job, you're a bodybuilder, well done. But don't you want to be bigger?
Yeah.
Don't you want to be better?
Why are you not curious about this stuff?
Why are you not curious? Like, your defensiveness and your ego are holding you back just because you can't entertain the possibility that someone who isn't as big as you or who hasn't been doing it as long as you might know something that you don't.
You just reminded me of Jordan Peterson's, one of his rules in his book: assume that the person you're talking to knows something that you don't.
I love that. I love going into a conversation like that now. Yeah. Like that was. I mean, that's not one of my stories, but that's a big thing I took away from that book.
That's a very big thing.
Yeah.
Even Huberman, as you say, he'll get people on his podcast and they'll be talking about stuff that he knows absolutely everything about, and he'll ask them the question because he has the humility to understand that this person might know something that I don't. And the other day, someone told him, that Sama guy, you want him? I don't know what he told him not to use blue light blockers, and he was like, oh.
Yeah, he was talking about that. Yeah, it was a good episode, that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Don't listen to that podcast, or listen to us.
Yeah, ours is well better. Our podcast seems to be like, we just speak about Huberman every single episode, so we almost get like the information from Huberman's podcast in ours, just in normal person language. So just listen to ours as well.
Yeah, just listen to ours. It's funnier. So the takeaway from that knee injury was my ego.
Yeah.
My ego was holding me back, and I see that hold people back all of the time, especially in the gym. Like, speaking to a girl the other day who hurt her back badly, slipped a disc, had to take time out from training, and then went back into the gym and started doing deadlifts, like, straight away. And I was just like, come on, like, but couldn't that, but I know, and like, it's frustrating for me because I know that feeling of, I can't let it go.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like a feeling of failure of like, this injury is a sign that I'm weak and that I'm not good enough. So I need to go back and do the deadlifts to prove that I'm good enough.
Yeah.
And you just need to let it go. You just need to just let that wall down and be like, okay, yes, this is shit. I can't do deadlifts. I fucked up. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I need to just take it back a step and fix the back problem and then go back at it. And it's hard. And that's why I messaged her. She put it up on her story, and that's why I started talking to her, because I was like, I know where your head's at, because my head's been there, and it's so hard to get past that. So hard to just go, okay, I'm not making this any better.
I think when you go into the gym and you start lifting weights and you start feeling good and you start feeling like you're accomplishing something, and then you base sort of your gym as a opportunity, your gym sessions an opportunity to succeed in a certain movement or blah, 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 and it becomes that, and that movement's taken away from you, it will naturally feel like a failure. I like to think of exercises as just an opportunity to fuck my body up rather than a certain
Yeah.
movement in particular. Like the movement itself doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
It's a squat, a leg press, it's a safety bar squat, it's a hack squat, it's a pendulum squat. It's all
Yeah.
doing the same thing inside my body. My body doesn't know, oh shit, this is a squat. Let's multiply hypertrophy by 0.4.
You know what?
Like,
I had this exact conversation
you know what I mean?
yesterday at the gym.
It doesn't know.
No, it doesn't know. Like, so I got a lad who trains in my gym come out and he was arguing with, I think it's his missus. It's the girl he trains with anyway. And he come out and they were arguing as they were walking towards me, and he sounded fucking out. He bigs me up all the time in that gym. He was like, he's the only PT I used to listen to when you were in here. You're the only one I'd ask questions and stuff. And like he was like, I'd always say so. Like he's sick, you know. He's a fuck. But he come out and he was like, "Let's settle this argument for us." And he was like, "Can you get used to a machine? Like, can your body like get used to a machine?" And that's exactly what we said. It was like I was like, it doesn't know that you're on Everlast's pin stack shoulder press. Doesn't know that you're doing dumbbell shoulder presses today, and yesterday you were doing barbell presses. It just knows that I'm resisting this amount of force in this direction, and that's all it knows. But like, it was my like no one's asked me that in ages, but that used to be something that come up all the time. It was like, it was mad that you brought that up, because I had the exact same conversation yesterday. Like, it doesn't know.
Shock the body, lad.
Shock the body, yeah. But that was a thing, and I thought,
what is that? I think Kazani said that once, didn't he?
Maybe that's where it come from.
Shock
But
the body,
that
like
was
what?
a thing, and obviously clearly still is a thing, because he's asked me that about do I need to change it up to like, because my body's got used to the exercise, and I was like, oh, no, like if you can't progress on it, go and pick a different movement that emulates that movement. with dumbbells or with the barbell or whatever, like that you're still targeting the same muscles. But
that's how we fucking program, isn't it? Like very, very quickly, it doesn't make sense to go from a dumbbell shoulder press to a machine shoulder press to a Smith machine shoulder press and just constantly rotate it. Why the fuck would you ever do that? Because you're never going to get skilled enough at that movement to load it heavily, because strength is skill. It's not really anything to do with muscle mass. Like if you look at, it is to some extent, but if you look at powerlifters, it's skill. Like a lot of them are not as big as bodybuilders. They've got less muscle, but they're more skilled at the movement, so they move more weight. Strength is largely skill based. So if you can become highly skilled at a certain movement, you lift more load, you get more mechanical tension, it becomes more effective the longer you run with that movement. Until you get to the point where you can't progress it anymore because you hit the upper limit of strength, and then you rotate it out to another movement, become more skilled at that, and just rotate that over and over again. Like programming is not that difficult. Like that's like a foundational principle of programming. So why the fuck would you try and shock your body? Because you're never ever going to become good or skilled at a certain movement. If you're trying to become really good at darts, why would you play darts one day and then go and play football the next, and then go and play snooker the next? Like you're trying to become good at darts, play darts.
Did I tell you about? That's just reminded me. I sent it into the old coaching app that I used to use. I'm not going to name them because I'm not with you no more. I use Trainerize now, right? But I sent this idea in because you used to send your thing out and be like, have you got any ideas that you would like us to put into the app? And you could send it. Was on that, so that each exercise, so say it was a shoulder press with dumbbells, instead of me having to go in and swap the exercise out, they could just swipe across. Yeah. And it would just swipe to a barbell version of it, or like a machine version of it, or like
that'd be cool,
a cable version of it.
I've got a document which basically does that. But
of course you have, because you are an Excel wizard. Excel wizardry from you, like.
But it'd be well easier if it was in the app.
Yeah, if you just swipe across, like, even to the point where like, someone's on dumbbell shoulder press today, right? Well, someone's on the shoulder press machine. Like, what am I going to do? Oh, barbell. Okay, sound. Yeah. So yeah, we could have went off there. But what's your next story?
Oh yeah. Right. Let me check. No, not the river. The river is number 4. Following on from the Man City thing, this is another football one. So I started playing football. You go and listen to the last episode if you haven't already, so you get a bit of a backstory. Became good, started playing for City. Played for City for a few years, then went to Liverpool, and then I was sort of like, was in a position where it was like starting to get serious. I think it was like 11, 12, 13, 14. That span of time where everyone starts to go like, oh shit, like you're actually good at football, you might become a professional footballer here if you just
Yeah.
If you just crack on. And I basically spent 4 years of my life turning up to football, absolutely hating every single day of my life because, well, that's a bit excessive. I didn't hate my life, but I hated football.
Yeah.
From probably about 12, 13, I started like properly hating it, like dreading training, just despised everything about it. It was just a horrible environment to be in for me at that time, where my head was at. Didn't really enjoy football, didn't like the kids that I was playing with, didn't like the environment, couldn't handle the pressure at that age because I just wasn't mature enough. And it was just a horrible place for me to be in at that point, and I just hated it. But I spent 4 years of my life just probably, the ego thing what you just spoke about. My ego was, I am a footballer. I am going to become a professional footballer. This is what I do. I am football.
Yeah.
This is my thing. I can't do anything else. Like the girl who thinks she has to deadlift.
Yeah.
I thought I had to play football and there was no other part of me or anything else valuable about me. I am football. I have to just play football all the time.
So this was before the earth suit.
This was before the earth suit. All of this has led me up to the earth suit.
Right, okay. We haven't spoken about the earth suit, I don't think. I think touch on that so we know what we're on about.
Yeah.
But
So, well, the earth suit is just the idea that I am not my body. I am a being. I am myself. But Isaac Kamara and the body that I inhabit is separate to me. This is just the suit that my soul lives in on this planet so that I can interact with other souls.
yeah, I remember you told me that and I was like, wow. It was like a Joe Rogan, whoa. But like, I love it because I think we got talking about it last time for this exact reason, was that like, if you dissolve away all of those labels,
I was a footballer.
You become more fulfilled.
Isaac Kamara was a footballer. And so I couldn't step away from Isaac Kamara's identity as a footballer. So I forced myself to play football for all this time, even though I fucking hated it, because I thought it's what I had to do.
Yeah.
And then when I stepped away from it, it was like the best day of my fucking life. It was like a weight had been lifted. It was unbelievable. And so we'll speak about the Earth suit in a minute, but the lesson was, the lesson will sort of transpire into the conversation about the Earth suit, but the lesson is, don't do stuff that you don't want to do. Like, you're on this planet in 2021, it's about to be 2022. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Like, we're not in the Victorian era. You don't have to go to school and then go and get a job as a fucking chimney sweep and just do that for the rest of your life and then die. Like, you can do whatever the fuck you want. There's so much freedom. Like, think about the things that you actually enjoy to do and don't be pressurized by anyone, by society, by your parents, by anyone to do what you think you should be doing if it doesn't align with your values.
Yeah.
Do whatever the fuck you want to do and actually do things that make you happy and make your life worthwhile.
That's so powerful. It's such a really good point. But like, I call it having no fucks. Like, when you stop giving a fuck about everything, like, you become so much more empowered. Like, if you're not happy, just change it. And it is as simple as that. And it's annoyingly.
But people will disagree with that because they're not ready to take on that information yet.
Yeah. Massively.
If you're not happy with your life, change it. I can't change it, I've got bills to pay. So you can still change it. Yeah. That's just a barrier in your mind.
That's a barrier you've created. Like,
if you've got bills to pay, continue 9 to 5, work from 6 o'clock till midnight every single day, Monday to Friday, and then get in bed and then wake up at 8 and get to work again, and build that over 6 months to a year. And then in a year, you'll be able to fuck your 9 to 5 off. You still pay your bills and you'll still follow your dream. Like, you have to take responsibility for your own happiness.
Massively. Like, that's a really good point, that, because I try and live by that every day. Like,
have no fuck. You just reminded me of, I don't know if it was a Chris Rock bit or years ago, where he was talking about George Bush. Have you ever seen it?
No. I love Chris Rock as well.
Have you seen it, Jacob? No. It was either Chris Rock or Eddie Murphy. I think it might have been Chris Rock, but he was like, if you were hanging off a cliff, and all you needed to get yourself off the edge of that cliff was one fuck, and George Bush was stood there, and you asked him for the fuck, he'd say, Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He just doesn't give a fuck.
He doesn't know.
give
Yeah,
fucks.
no.
He doesn't give fucks out.
Yeah.
But that's how you have to be. Like, you can't give a fuck about what anyone else's opinion is. You just got to follow your own heart, your own dream.
Yeah.
And then it becomes your life becomes good.
Like, no, like slightly off topic, but to the point of like, so much so for me, where like I said, I was having out with, Mark,
Yeah.
Dr. Mark, and his mate, and I was like, we were talking about this, and I was like, I just don't give a fuck. Like, I don't, like, if it doesn't save me,
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, and as heartless that might sound, like, I don't care, because it's not like,
Yeah.
if it doesn't save me, doesn't save my family, doesn't save the people I care about, I don't care about it.
Mm.
I was like traffic lights. We were sitting there, I was like, traffic lights, for example. If it's 11, 12 o'clock at night and there's no traffic, I'm not getting told what to do by a bulb. I'm not. And like, do you know what I mean? Funny, I know, I love that line, right? But just think about that for a second, because we don't question it. And that baffles my brain. Like, you can be sat as a fully functioning, intelligent, conscious being, and you're sat on a big, massive, empty junction at like 11:30 at night. You can see that there's no cars about. There isn't another car on the road. There isn't a pedestrian. And you're sat because a red light has told you to stop. And it's like, I'm intelligent enough to know I can cross this junction and not cause danger to anyone. But this bulb's telling me I've got to wait, and it's like, why am I doing this?
Well, I agree with you there.
Like, there's so many things in life like that. Do you know what I mean?
I agree with you, but like the cross at the the running the red light, I don't think I fully agree with, because there could be someone who's flying at 80 and they just nail you out of nowhere. And then
I know,
you're fucked.
no, I get.
So
like, I'm not condoning my
with you.
behaviour. Like, I do that because I genuinely give zero fucks.
Yeah. But like the COVID lines, when they have a traffic light system outside supermarkets, why am I waiting outside the fucking shop because there's a red light there?
Because of the red light. Well, it's exactly the same thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, people are just stopping and waiting, and it's like,
What are you waiting for?
you're waiting because a bulb told you to wait. Like,
Like,
stop.
there's no one on the door. Like, no one's gonna die if you go into the shop.
It just doesn't make sense. A guy, police actually pulled me over for doing that the other day, and let me off.
Did they?
Couldn't believe it. Yeah, absolute legend. Absolute legend. Pulled me over in a van, just didn't see him. I was dropping food off for 8 to 1.
What, from running a red light?
Yeah. Dropping.
Dickhead, so don't listen to what he's just said.
But, right, just be honest with them. Because he pulled me over. I didn't see him because my back window was all misted up. Or it was all, like, wet. And I sat at this traffic light and it was a big, like, motorway roundabout where you can see the junctions, and there was the cars, them cars were stopped at the red light, and I'm sat there and I'm like, what am I waiting here for? It's like 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and I'm dropping food. I'm waiting to drop food parcels off to go home after working all day. I was like, fuck this. Done the red light, and as soon as I went through the red light, I just seen the blue in the mirror. I'm like, fuck off. Carried on driving. I was like, maybe he's just going past me. And he pulled up right behind me. It was a transit van. So I was like, okay, it's not traffic police. It's sound. They're not going to fucking... Because if you do that in front of traffic police, like, all their Christmases will come at once. Like, you're getting the biggest, dirtiest fine. It doesn't matter what you say. That's his job.
Yeah.
Traffic. You've just done a red light. You're the scum of the earth to a guy in a white hat. But guy in a transit van, he's not chasing you because transit van. So he's just got to hope that you pull over. So I did. Pulled over because, like, I'm not a muppet. I am a muppet, like, I'm a big muppet. But I pulled over. I made them follow me for ages as well because they want to pull over on the roundabout and, like, get in the way of traffic.
Yeah.
So I pulled off the roundabout, went up this long road, and then pulled over in, like, a little quiet street. So they fully thought they were getting a chase. They must have been on the radio like, he's not stopping. He's not stopping. Get more police here. Pulled over, and he come up to the window, and he, like, flew over to the window, and he was like, mate, what was all that about? You just done red light. And I went, I know, mate, I'm just really impatient. And he was like, oh, have you got your license? I was like, yeah, man. Give him my license. And I was like, 3 points. Traffic light. Maybe if I'm lucky, I'll get the speed, the traffic light awareness thing. I haven't done one of them in a while, so flying, I'll get that. Because you can't do one within 2 years of getting one. I was like, I'll get that one. I haven't done that one in ages. And his mate, the two of them flew out the van. he was at the window and his mate was at the back. Like, they were ready. Like, they thought I was like, I think they thought I'd done the red light because I'd seen them.
Yeah.
I hadn't. I'm just impatient. And he checked my license, and he was waiting. I was pissing down, like hammering down. I had the window open, brand new car, and I was getting wet inside. I was like, "Fuck's sake!" I was like, "It's your own fault for doing the red light, you muppet." And he just went. He must have checked my license, checked that there was no criminal record, not on the car was all legit. He just went, "All right, mate, busy junction that, so just watch out, yeah." And give me my license back, and I was like, "Is it? Yeah."
Mad that.
So, mate, see you later. But the minute something got off, I was like, I can't believe he's just let me off with that.
Sick that.
Yeah, mad. I mean, they're not traffic police, so that's all I can put it down to, is that he's not got...
Did you tell him that you're dropping food off?
No, I didn't tell him nothing. Didn't tell me where I was going. Mad. Don't know, but...
Well, that would do.
Touch wood. Last year. I mean, still don't stop at red lights at night, like. I just look for police now.
Well, are we on my story or yours?
Yeah, we were on your story about
Earth suits and egos and all of that. So yeah, as you said, just do what you love. Your Earth suit is not you. So if you feel your Earth suit is got a certain identity, just understand that you can change that whenever the fuck you desire. If you're a fat muppet right now, and your Earth suit is a fat muppet, you can change that.
Yeah.
It's very easy. You can decide to change that today. If you're a skinny muppet and you want more muscle on your Earth suit, then you can change that today. It's not set in stone. It's not you. It doesn't define you. You have the power to change that when you step away from your ego and your own identity.
Nice.
Story number 4.
Story number 4, I'm going to keep short because 5's quite long. I know 5's the best one.
Sound.
Story number 4 was probably one of the hardest things I ever done in the army. It was some patrol, like, competition thing, which is essentially like you got your kit on and you've got to get from A to B, or you've got to get from A to Z and go to B, C, D, E, all the way through to all these different points across. It was in the Lancs, in Lancashire somewhere, over just horrible terrain, like big high hills, like loads of rivers, like it was horrible. The weather was, it was like in winter. We had like 2 days to cross 54 kilometers, which is like a lot when you're carrying, I think we were carrying about 90, 100, 110 pounds of kit.
Fucking hell.
We had to do like river crossings, so you'd have to get naked, you'd have to put all your kit in your bag, waterproof your bag, swim across, get dressed. Like, cold water immersion when you've been going for like 12 hours is just not fun. Like, you don't want to get in that river and stuff. Like, it's just grim. And like, I was quite young. I hadn't been in the army that long at this point. And the guy leading the team was like a hard cunt. He's in the SAS right now.
Yeah.
Like, he's the guy, you know, the guys you hear the stories about, like, you know, the fucking SAS who dares wins. He's the legit, he's the real deal. Yeah. Like, he's in. And he was always going to be, from the, like, it's all he talked about when I joined. Went and done it, passed, flew in. Now goes and does bad things to bad people all over the world and can't tell us about it. Like the real deal. He was leading it, and this guy was a proper soldier. Like, he'd been multiple tours. Like, he'd been in the fight. Like when he spoke, you listened.
Yeah. Like,
he didn't talk back. You fucking listened to. Do you know what I mean? And he was switched on constantly. Like, he lived and breathed it. Like, all of the training was as if it was real life.
Yeah.
Because in his head it was. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Especially, like, all the guys there had just come back from Afghan, and it was a really bad tour in Afghan. So then all of the training afterwards was like, well, the next time we go to Afghan, it's going to be bad. So you take this fucking seriously. Like, if lads fucked up, they get punched. They get hit with weapons. Like, it wasn't a joke. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was serious. And he was like that. And he was sound as fuck. He was dead funny. But was fucking serious about his job, and he was leading it. And even he, at the end, we're walking up this last, so we were going all the way through it, and right, like, we've been going for about 36, maybe 40 hours. I haven't been to sleep yet. Wrecked. And we got a message over the radio, and it was like, you're the only team still out. We still had like 4 checkpoints to go as well, so like another like 12 hours. It's like, you're the only team still out. Everyone else has quit and come in, or got injured and come in. Yous have won. And it wasn't our competition. We got invited to go and do it. It was like, you've won. So you can either finish, or you can just make a beeline straight back to us and come in because you've won. So Gus turned around and was like, right, well, we may as well go to all the other checkpoints because it's probably the easiest route back. It's the flattest route back. Or we can climb that. And this thing was like that. Like literally, like if you were stood on it with your feet, you could touch the ground with your hands like that.
Mad.
Like, and it was just grass. It was just a grass verge like that. But it was massive. And I think it took us like 2 hours to get up it. But it meant we could come down the other side.
Yeah.
And then we were there. So it was like one last push going up it. And like we were broken. Like I was broken. I thought I was broken. But I was like, I'm only. Used to call him a sprog when you were new.
Yeah.
You call him a sprog. So I was like, I'm only a sprog. Like, I just need to get on with it. And we're going up this hill and Gus is next to me and he's using his rifle as a walking stick. So he's got his hand on the end of the barrel and like the butt that goes into your shoulder, putting into the ground and like lifting himself up with it, which you don't do. You never ever do. Like your weapon stays in your hand, ready to use it as a weapon. You don't do that with it. He turned to me and he looked at me, looking at him doing it. But he was goosed. He was carrying the heaviest kit as well. So he had the radio, he had like the med kit, he had like spare batteries. Like his was the emergency bag, and so it had all the stuff for like the patrol, like the fake, like we need to do these tasks at each checkpoint stuff, and then all the stuff if something goes wrong, you've got all that shit too. So he was carrying a fucking heavy ass bag and like double the weight of all ours, and he kept it the whole time. And he was supposed to swap that one out. He just kept it because he was a fucking meathead. And he's fucking using his weapon up this last fucking hill. And he turned to me and he went, if you tell anyone you see me do this, I'll fucking punch your head in. And then just turned off and carried on doing it. And I just went, sound Gus. And just carried on because I was fucked as well. I didn't care at that point. I was just getting me up this fucking hill. But it was fucking like, because he was deadly serious. He was like, if people find out that I've done this, like, I'll get the piss taken out of me, do you know what I mean, for being. But that was physically like the hardest 2 days, and everything else I'd done in the army after that, I'd just relate back to that and was like, well, if I can do that, this isn't as bad as that.
Yeah.
This isn't as bad as that. I can push further than that. And this is where I need Jacob to video me, because this is what we spoke about, breaking the fourth wall.
Let's go.
Oh, he's ruined it here. Oh, he's good to go. So your mind will break before your body every single time. Like we've all heard people saying that, but I've never ever had a client come to me and quit because of their body. You need to, if you're just starting any phase, get your mind strong first, because your body's already strong. Even if you're unfit, even if you're out of shape, your body's strong. It's your mind that's weak. It's your mind that's keeping you out of shape. It's your mind that's keeping you unfit. So work on getting that strong, and then you'll physically get strong as a byproduct of it.
Nice.
That's what I wanted to video, because that's a boss soundbite. Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
But that was my takeaway from that.
That's very powerful. That's like what we were saying before about like how what we mentioned before in the last episode, I think it was, where training is like a training ground for the mind. Like you're not training your body, you're training your mind.
Yeah, your body can already do it.
Your body can do that.
Yeah,
you're training your mind to be able to push to new areas of discomfort, to new levels. So that's fucking boss.
It's a good way for people to sort of, if you've not experienced something like that before, if you ever take a break from the gym and you go back, and people always say, oh, you get strong dead quick again.
Yeah.
It's because you're already strong.
Yeah.
Like your strength didn't go away.
Yeah.
Your body's lifted that weight before and it's gone, okay, yeah, I can do this. It's your mind going,
yeah,
we haven't been in the gym in ages. We're going to be dead weak. This is going to be dead heavy. This is going to be dead hard. Like, you're retraining your mind.
What about the Ultraflex set, man?
The Ultraflex set, arguably one of the best sets I've ever done in my life.
We always speak about this set.
Yeah.
It was a pivotal moment.
Because it was a pivotal moment in our relationship.
Yeah.
Because you said it and I was like, I hate how much he knows how my brain works. And I do to this day. Hate that you know me really well. Because we drove, I think we spoke about this before, haven't we? But we'll skim over it again, because it's our origin story. It's where the bromance really like took hold, I think.
Yeah.
It was because he whispered as well. It was slightly sexual. I'm on this hack squat in Leeds, Rotherham, Ultraflex. And we drove like 2 hours to get there, haven't we? And this was the set. We'd come for this hack squat. We'd come for leg day. We'd come for this big session. And I was kind of like not in it. And I was getting myself psyched up for this set. And it was the way he was behind me. Yeah, I couldn't even see you. I think I probably could have seen you in the mirror, but I wasn't looking. I was looking down at my feet and I was getting my feet set up. And I just felt my headphone get pulled off. And they're them Sony ones that you've got, the noise cancelling ones, like you can't hear nothing other than the music when the sound's on. And I just felt this thing pull off and just, this is what we've come here for. It's this set. And then just put my headphone back on. Just like, it was like in Power Rangers where they like do the little thing and they're like, they turn into the big fucking shape. That's what happened inside me.
Yeah. Because it is literally your mind. Like we all know it from leg day. Like you can push your body to unbelievable limits if your mind's there. Like how many times have you had a leg day where it was just like all right, and then you've been proper on it, you've been motivated, you've been feeling good, everything mindset wise was just perfect, and you've just whacked the plate on and just smashed your set because it was nothing to do with your body. Your body probably could have done that last week, but your mind doesn't there. Yeah. So the mind is by far the most powerful fucking thing. Everyone always gives up on. Like I feel like when you take a normal human who isn't like conditioned to push the failure on legs, they'll probably stop with like a good 10-15 reps in the tank on legs unless they've been conditioned not to.
Legs hurt.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? It's like
you have
physically,
to,
psychologically hurt.
You have to, going back to my story number 2, you have to constantly expose yourself to stepping out of that comfort zone. And then you realise, oh shit, it's not that bad. Like one of the things that I do sometimes to get my clients to sort of learn intensity is push to where you think you want to end the set and then tell me. And then literally say out loud, I want to end the set now. Say, right, just do one more. Yeah. Like what I've said to you, just do one more. And then they do it and I go, was that bad? No. Right, okay, in the next set, take yourself to that point that I've just asked you to go to and then tell me you want to end the set. And I'll say, right, do one more again. And then they just keep going. All right, well, when I get to this point, it feels unbelievably bad. It feels terrible. It's unbelievably painful, but I can still do another one. And then when I do it, it's not that bad. Yeah. It's not as bad as you think it will ever be. And so that's a boss one.
That question, that having someone else ask you it's a powerful is way more powerful than asking yourself it. But even asking yourself it works. Like, can I do one more? Yeah. Can I do another lap? Can I do another rep? Can I do another set? Can I get up an hour early? Yeah. Can I get up 10 minutes earlier?
Sometimes I'll do it when I'm doing check-ins and it's like 11 o'clock at night and it's like, can you do another one? Yeah. I've got 4 check-ins to do and it's like midnight. Can you do one more?
Yeah,
you can. Yeah. You finish that one. Can you do one more?
Put it on my story this morning. It's like, can you just do one thing to be better today? Story number 5, the final. Oh no, it's your 4, isn't it?
It's mine, lad. Don't be fucking cheeky.
Who cares about yours, lad? It's only here for me.
Do you know what? I'm going to put my 5 next. I feel like it sort of is a little bit similar.
Nice.
Similar to your number 1, actually. After you break up and you ate your feelings.
The origin story.
Fat
Jack origin story.
Fat Jack origin story. First ever relationship. And first proper breakup. Head's kettled, obviously, as everyone's is. And I was just, like, that's it. Head was just absolutely kettled. And there was like quite a period where it was just a mad headspace, like where I just felt very down all the time for probably not a major amount of time, probably like a month. I was just in a very dark, bad place. And that's when I actually found meditation. Because I remember getting an email and it said headspace and I was like, that's what I need. Yeah. I need that right now. Yeah. And I clicked on it and was like, as a student, you can get 50% off. And I was like, fucking yeah, got it. Started meditating. Yeah. And when I started meditating, I obviously started feeling better because meditation is the key to everything in the world. And started feeling amazing, started to understand the idea or have the courage to let these negative thoughts that over the last month had been coming into my mind, and then I'd be going, oh fuck no, don't think about that. It's a painful thought. Let's ignore it. Let's go to the gym. Let's go and play football. Let's go and do something. Where you were eating your feelings and going to fucking Kenya. I was training, doing other stuff, blah blah blah. Going out with mates or whatever it was to try and step away from these thoughts. Whereas when I started meditating, I was like, holy shit, like I can just let these thoughts come in, not judge myself, and experience and sit with these thoughts and let them play out in my mind, and because that's really scary, having the courage to sit there and let these horrible thoughts play out and just seeing where it goes, and then letting it fizzle out and actually processing the emotions and processing all the stuff that you're going through, and then not judging yourself for it. And then once you can do that, once I started doing that, I was like, oh my God, like this is literally a life-changing situation. Like anything that comes into my head now is never going to hurt me ever again, because I know that I won't ever judge myself for it. I know that I can sit there and let anything bad that happens in my life, I can just deal with it, because I won't be hurt by the thoughts that are coming into my mind, because it's not me, it's my attitude.
Yeah, it's my attitude. I think that's the biggest barrier for people with meditation, isn't it?
It's scary as fuck.
The fear of, if you are someone who's sort of struggling with anxiety or depression, or you're struggling with that internal dialogue, it's like you've been doing stuff for so long to try and ignore that internal dialogue, that like, well, what might happen if I listen to it? Well, in fact, listening to it is what's gonna, or allowing it to be heard, and to actually just listen to how ridiculous some of it actually is, or to just hear it out and be like, okay, that's quite interesting, or yeah, that's why I feel that way, or that's why I'm thinking that way. Like reading that Chris Voss's book, The FBI Negotiator, and he talks about labeling emotions, labeling situations, labeling fears, disarms them. Like labeling the negative disarms it. And that's exactly what you're doing with meditation, isn't it? You're labeling, I feel bad because of this. Oh, I feel bad because of this. Oh, okay, well that's why I feel bad. I'm not a bad human. I'm not broken.
There's not something wrong with
there's
me.
not something wrong with me.
All of these things have happened, and I'm just dealing with them. But the key thing is being able to witness the stuff coming in, labeling it, but then having a non-judgmental approach to it as well. Because you might be feeling like shit. You might be a murderer. You might have killed loads of people, and you feel bad about it. Well, that is terrible. That is a terrible thing. In order for you to feel good about that, you need to have an element of non-judgmental thing about yourself. You should probably definitely feel terrible about all of that. But if you were to do something really bad in your mind, and it stays bad in your mind, it will always be a painful thing.
Yeah.
If you want to get past whatever it is that's causing you pain, you need to be able to approach it without judgment and just let it be and let it sit. And this is where the airsuit this is where it came from.
Yeah.
It's not me, it's my airsuit.
Yeah.
The thing that's going on, and the reason I'm getting these thoughts that are painful, is because this body that I'm inhabiting has experienced this in the physical world, but it's not me. It's not who I am. It's not who I identify as. And so when you almost separate yourself from your physical body, it becomes much less or much easier to have no judgment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you get me?
Love that. I had a conversation like that with one of my clients this week, who's struggling with like a breakup, same situation, and is doing the thing that we all do, like hung up on all of the negatives. So I said to him, which is probably a bit mad for a lot of people to hear, is like, okay, well, write down all of the negatives. Write down all of the things that you're hung up on, all of those things that you can't stop thinking about, and then find the positive of all of it. Find a positive for each one, because there will be one. How does that thing happen and serve you rather than and hurt you? And I think it helped him. I hope it helped him. I know it helps me. He said it helped him. He said he felt better for doing it.
Good.
I know it works. I've done it myself.
But the the lesson is don't be scared of your own mind. Face it.
Yeah.
Don't suppress your emotions. You need to fucking face them. If you're ever going to get past them, why to just sit there eating away at you for the next 40 years and then you have a mental breakdown?
You have to sort of be open to hearing it though, don't you?
Yeah.
Like,
because me saying that
He's-
now, you might be so scared of the thought that I could say it 100,000 times, and,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
someone listening who needs that information is just going to be like, nah,
Yeah.
I'm a man, don't have
Yeah.
emotions.
I'm not ready to accept that. Like, the person I'm talking about, the client I'm talking about, was ready to hear me say that to
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
and they were like, do you know what?
Yeah.
And testament to him, everything I've said to him so far, like he was in a shit place when he reached out to me. But I related to that place so hard, and I was like, it's all right, let's do this. Like, we'll just take it from where you're at right now. And to be fair, everything that I've asked him to do, he's tried it. And that's that. I love that. Like, that's what I love about my job. Like, I'm not expecting you. And he'll come back to me sometimes and be like, oh, I didn't do this week and I didn't do that. I'm like, but you did. You tried it. Like, you went away and like you writ down them bad reasons. I'm like, do you know how much of a big thing that is psychologically long term for you? Like, because he was ready to hear that, but some people just aren't. And obviously, when the minute that email popped up for you, you were in that position to be like, yeah, I'm ready for this.
Give me all of
Yeah.
it.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Everything. If that breakup wouldn't have happened, I would never have started meditating.
Yeah. But that email come to you
Yeah,
at the right time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's stuff like that. It just happens, doesn't it? It happens when it needs to.
100%. I wouldn't be here today if that email hadn't come through,
Yeah.
if that breakup hadn't happened. I always think this, the butterfly effect. Like,
I wouldn't
it's
have
fucking
started
boss, innit?
meditating if you hadn't started meditating.
Yeah,
Because it was you that went on at me for ages and ages and ages and ages about meditation.
yeah,
Until you finally broke me.
yeah,
It wasn't even you, but it was. You played a massive role in that, but it was
yeah.
um
What's his name? What's his name? That dickhead.
the mindset mentor.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
Oh, I paid him so much money as well.
Some guy.
Some American dude that sold me like a copy and paste program for loads of money. I learned a lot from him, but the
That
program
should
he
be
sold
one
me
of
was
his
terrible.
stories. Like,
Oh, it was bad.
don't
that.
pay American guys loads of
Don't
money.
pay American guys for. I mean, as a business model to make loads of money, it's good.
Yeah,
Like, he makes a lot of money from it, but actually, like, what the content of the course was terrible.
right. Story number 5.
Story number 5, last 2. Save the best till last. Titled The Mental Health Story.
Nice.
I used to have a partner towards the end of my time in the army who suffered quite badly with their mental health and started to suffer with it a lot more like towards the end of our relationship. So the first lesson was, having spent that time with her, I went to a lot of her appointments in DCMH, it was called, which is Department something Centre for Mental Health.
Yeah, DCMH.
I don't know what the D. I don't know what the D.
Well, doesn't fucking
DCMH.
matter, does it?
It was.
Community mental health.
There we
Nice.
go. DCMH is like the Army's mental health wing, should we say? And I would go to all of the appointments with her because she wouldn't go on her own. So I was like, look, you need to go. Like, this is going to help, and it did help. And once she'd gone, she would come out feeling a lot better. But it was a battle to get her there because obviously it's fucking scary talking about what's going on inside your head to someone who you don't know. But the more I tried to help her with that, I was obviously not in a good place at the time anyway, because of where I was in my life and where I was in my career and stuff like that. But then being around someone else who's suffering with their mental health then had a big impact on my mental health, and we weren't in a healthy relationship. But looking back, that allowed me, one, to the situation and the time put me in a really bad position. It wasn't her. It was the whole situation, army life, everything, just put me in a really, really dark place. And I was in a really, really dark place for a long time. Like, there was times where I didn't want to be alive. But if that hadn't have happened, I wouldn't have believed in mental health. If that makes sense. Like, I like, before that, I was that arrogant knobhead in the army of like, well, you're just weak. You're just weak. If you feel down, you feel sad, you're just weak. Like, you just need to get harder. And then it hit me, and I was like, oh wow, this is what they're all going on about. Wow, this is shit. Damn, this is real. I feel like shit. I don't want to be alive anymore. Wow, okay, this might be real. This might be a thing.
Yeah.
And like, it went on for ages, but I was still in the mindset of like, I'm weak. I'm weak for feeling like this, because I was in the army, where people don't speak about mental health. It's a big problem in the army that people don't speak about mental health.
Yeah.
Well, at least it was. I think it's getting better now. But the biggest lesson for me personally was the mental health is real.
Yeah.
Like, your mental health is a thing. Like, mental health disorders are real. Like, it's not just weakness.
Yeah.
Like, depression and anxiety exist.
Yeah.
I know, because they still exist within me now. I've just got a handle on them. But that's not the lesson from this. The lesson from this, so when things got really, really bad, was I used to go to her appointments with her psychologist, and I got to learn a lot about what was wrong with her, but different mental health sort of issues, bipolar, depression, anxiety. And he was fantastic, this psychologist, that, like, much like why I love Huberman, he would say, look, this is what this is. This is how it works. This is what's going on inside you, to help you understand what's going on. When you understand stuff, you're less scared of it, all that. So it was really, really good. But one day we'd had like I think he could just tell from the way he'd obviously seen me coming into all of these meetings as well, all these appointments. And he was like, asked her to go and sit outside. He was like, I just want to chat to Jack for a bit. And she went outside, and he went to me, so how are you? And that's all he said. And I honestly nearly burst into tears. Couldn't respond to him. Like, was choked instantly. I was like, yeah, I'm good. That's all I managed to get out. I was like, no, I'm sound. Yeah. And then left. I was like, fucking hell, I nearly cried there. What a fucking knobhead. But it was also like, fuck, shit's bad. Like, if someone asks me, am I okay? And I nearly burst into tears. That's a big fucking red flag. That, like, I should probably do something about this. So, obviously didn't. Why would you?
Obviously.
Obviously. Ignored it for a little bit longer. And then it was getting worse. The voice inside was getting louder and louder, like, not wanting to get up. Not wanting to get up in the morning, not wanting to be alive, like going to bed and being like, I don't want to be here anymore, like, be sound if I just didn't wake up. Like, and then was about to get sent away somewhere. And I was just like, I can't do this. Like, I haven't got the headspace to get up and go every morning at fucking 6 o'clock and do this shit. Like, I can't deal with people. So I went to the med centre, and I was sat in the waiting room, and I was like, right, I'm gonna have to say something to him. Like, I need to address this. And I went in, I was sat there, and I was like shaking, like fucking hell. Felt like a dickhead, basically. Like, felt weak, felt like pathetic, and said to him, look, I'm not okay. I'm struggling. Didn't even know how to say it to him. Didn't even know what to say. Was like, what do I tell him? Like, I don't know what's fucking wrong. And I was like, look, I'm struggling, like, with my head. Told him all about my partner and what had sort of been going on. I was like, look, I was trying to tell him how bad it was, but also was like playing it down a little bit, I think. I was like, look, I kind of just don't want to be here anymore. And he was like, you know what? It was a fucking kick in the teeth. It was an absolute kick in the teeth, because he went, okay, sound. So I've just opened up to him, told him that I don't want to be here, that I feel like shit. And he goes, okay, sound. I was like, look, if I go away, like, I'm gonna snap. Like, I can't do this. And basically he just thought I was trying to get out of going away. And he went, okay, well, there's this forum that you can go on. It's a mental health forum. You can go in there and you can talk to people about how you're feeling. So I'll give you the website, I'll give you the details, and if you need any help with that, yeah, just go on there and ask them. And I was like, left, and was just like, sound, okay, yeah, whatever, you're no help. And that was the nail in the coffin of, right, I need to leave the army. Because, like, that was the help that was on offer. That was one of the hardest things. That's probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, was tell that doctor that I'm not okay. And he was like, sound, here's a forum. You've just really struggled to tell me that you're not feeling okay. So what I now want you to do to help you with this is go and tell even more people that you're not okay, and hopefully they can help you. It was the maddest thing. But
What the fuck?
yeah, like the thing that taught me, and for anyone who's sort of in that position now or has been in that position, is that is the hardest thing you will ever do.
Fuck
Is
me,
is go and ask for help. But it is that was the change, that was the line in the sand that I needed to be like, that was the hardest thing I had to do. And after that was okay. Because I'd made that decision in my head then that, okay, yeah, I'm not okay, but that's sound. Now what do I do to go and fix it?
Yeah.
And I was fortunate to have met that psychologist who had clued me into learning about depression and anxiety, and that's when I went on to learn more about it. And that is the second lesson, that if you don't feel okay, go and learn about it. Go and learn about the feelings, go and learn about mental health, go and learn about anxiety, depression, whatever it is. That's powerful in itself, to understand what it actually is. Because I didn't believe that it was a thing until I felt it. And then I didn't understand what I was feeling and felt weak. Then finally managed to get up the courage to go and ask for help, and got knocked back. So then I had to go and learn about it myself, and learn coping mechanisms, and learn tools to manage it. And I'm probably like, don't take any of my advice in terms of mental health, because I am not qualified to give it or dish it out. Like, this is literally just a story from my life, but because I'm probably not managing it the best I could now. Do you know what I mean? Because I've never actually went somewhere and spoke to someone qualified about it, about my personal like issues. I've just found stuff that keeps me operating at the level I am now. But that asking for help's the hardest thing you'll ever do, but it gets better after that. And that's the biggest lesson, that like, just do it. Just when it comes to, if something's not right, just bite that bullet. Doesn't matter who you're speaking to, mum, sister, boyfriend, girlfriend, your dog, maybe not your dog, but like the doctors. Like, if someone doesn't give you the answer that you need or the help that you need, go somewhere else. Like, if you've asked for it, once you've asked for it that first time, it's fine then. Doing that and getting over that hurdle and getting knocked back, like, that was the worst possible outcome from going to see the doctor about that I possibly could have got, where he just went, you're trying to get off exercise. Nah, lad, off you go. Here's a forum, see you later. Like, luckily I wasn't in that much of a dark place. Like, I could have been ready to go and just off myself that night. Do you know what I mean? Because that's the help I got, and luckily I wasn't. But it made me go and look for another one. But then I knew once I'd done it there, I took the fear out of it. Do you know what I mean? And now I can talk about it like this, and I don't care about it. Do you know what I mean? It's not like a taboo, or like I feel stupid or weak. Whereas that was shaking in the waiting room.
That must be fucking tough.
It was mad.
To have someone respond in that way the first time you ever open up to someone about it.
Oh, I was broken. Proper broke me. It was like, at the time, like immediately at the time, it knocked me even further, because I was like, oh, okay, well, I must just be weak then. If the solution is, I was angry, I think, actually, more than anything, because I knew I needed help. So it wasn't even, I was lucky, massively lucky of where I was and the type of person I am and the position that I was in, to go, that for someone else could have absolutely fucking destroyed them. And I'm just lucky that the headspace that I was in at the time, that I was just like, no, fuck you, I do need help. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it was no, fuck you.
You did
fuck
care
you
about
at your
yourself.
fucking forum, you can fuck off, I'll go and find it somewhere else then. Do you know what I mean?
You did care about yourself enough.
Yeah. And that's what it come down to, was that like, I'd reached the point where I was like, no, this can't go on.
That's fucking, like, do you know, when you're speaking, I'm thinking about all of the stories that we've spoken about so far are all encased within what you've just said. So like, there was a point where you were like, no, I can't go on here, similar to what you said at the start, where you used to call yourself as a fat cunt, and you were like, can't go on. Yeah. Then stepping out of your comfort zone, like, obviously, like, unbelievably so much more than I did when I was scared to go into a football pitch, but like, stepping out of your comfort zone in the same way has transformed your life completely.
Yeah.
And also, when we were speaking about meditation before, the importance of processing your emotions and having the non-judgmental
Yeah.
attitude around it. Like, yeah, I do feel like shit and I don't want to be here, and that's just where I am. That's fine.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I need to fix it. But then also taking the action on top of that is fucking sick, man.
Yeah. That's why I saved that story till last.
That's fucking heavy. I don't even want to say my fifth story now.
Tell a story, lad. Because
Lad.
it was just one of them, lad. It was just a mad response, but it was a big. It was for me that like the importance, like I know, especially right now in this time of year, Christmas and the fact that all the fucking shit that's going on in the news, people are feeling it, and people won't say nothing.
So your lesson there is just ask for help.
Not even just ask for help, that will be the defining moment of your life. And you won't feel excited about it if you feel worried about asking someone. But trust me, once you do, you will love that moment in your life right now if you go and ask for help in the future. Like future you will love you for it, because that will become a defining moment of your life where you said, fuck this shit. Like, I'm worth more. Do you know what I mean? And that's fucking empowering. And that's what is, you're on the edge of that when you haven't asked for help. And everyone I speak to who's suffered really badly with their mental health and got through it, or is dealing with it, is in that exact same situation and feels something similar to that. That it's so fucking empowering, because you do literally just go, right, fuck this shit. And you get through it. And you do get through it. But it's hard. But I want people to go and do it, because I know how fucking good it feels when you do.
It's loving yourself enough to make that change step so far away from what feels comfortable.
Yeah.
Fuck me, man. It's heavy. You might save a few lives on this podcast.
What's that?
You might save a few lives with this podcast. Story number 5. The river.
The river. Make it light-hearted, because I've just been fucking soul-destroying there.
No, it's boss lad.
Let's bring some humour back into it.
That was great. Right, so it was in Wales, right? This one time.
This one time in Wales.
This one time.
Is this? No, it's not. Go on, sorry.
This was an email. You might have read it once.
That's what it was, yeah.
Yeah. So, right, I was in Wales. With the mumsy, and we had this cottage, and there was a river running through the back of it, and every single morning I'd wake up, meditate, have my morning coffee, sit on, the garden was there, and then just dropped off, and there was the river, so there was like no fencing or nothing, so I just sit off the end of it, and I was just staring at this river, and I remember this one day I was just staring at it for like, and it was when I first started journaling, and I remember staring at this river for about an hour. I woke up like really early for some reason. I was just sat there for like an hour, drinking this coffee, literally just staring at this river, and I went into like this crazy state. It was almost like a little bit of a psychedelic state, just staring at this river for an hour. It was weird. Have you ever meditated to the point where you can see the stuff in the world starts moving?
No, I meditate with my eyes shut. You meditate with your eyes open sometimes, don't you?
Sometimes. This is another place where the earth suit came from. I was just like, well, if I can make the floor move, it's not real. If I can make the floor,
I don't think
move.
you're real sometimes, you know. I swear you took the blue pill and you're outside the matrix and we're all still in it.
If I can look at the floor long enough that it starts moving around like this, it's not real.
Some of the stuff on it, like honestly, have you been outside the matrix? Just tell me now. Come on, we'll turn the cameras off. Tell me after this.
Yeah, I'll tell you later.
Because what was the other one you said?
The meditation. Do you ever forget where you are when you're training?
Do you ever forget where you are in the middle of a leg press?
Do you ever forget that you exist when you're training?
No, I don't know. 20 reps deep into a leg press with you screaming at me to do more. No, I have not forgot where I am.
Well, so I've many times I've been training legs and just forget that I exist, and then
you're a powerful meditator and it impresses me.
And then I'm sort of still a bit conscious. The set ends, and then I lock it and I open my eyes and like, oh yeah, I'm a human.
Yeah.
Again.
I'm back in the matrix.
Fuck the shit all again. No, but anyway, I was watching the river and I was just like sort of blown away. I was just fascinated by the water, and I was just thinking like the life cycle of a particle of water, if that's like the correct term, like the H2O, like one atom of water. Like think
Yeah.
about what's going on, or even one droplet, one bit of water, a section of water. And it's just like, this water is on a relentless mission to the sea for no reason.
Yeah.
For no reason. Like, why is it working so hard to get to the sea? What's the point in that? It's started in this river. It starts on top of a mountain. It's come down. It's in this river. Nothing on earth will stop that piece of water getting to the sea. But its journey is absolutely pointless. It's obviously got a bit of a function if we want to start getting serious about it. But in reality, like, the water is just being, it's on, if you want to personify the water, it's on a relentless mission to the sea for no reason. If you block the water off, it will just go around it. If you completely cover the water and encase it and stop it from moving until it completely stops the flow of the water, it will evaporate into the sky, the cloud will move, and it will rain in the sea. And it will get past the barrier no matter what. It will be relentless in its pursuit of progression towards the sea. But it's fucking pointless. And I was sat there thinking, it's a bit like humans, it's a bit like me. I'm trying to build this business for what?
Yeah.
I am relentless in my journey of trying to build a business, help people make money. That's part of it. Build the life that I want to lead, the legacy that I want to lead on this planet. For what? For no reason. I could be homeless and I could die next week, touch wood I don't, and nothing would happen. Doesn't really change the world at all. But everything about my pursuit of excellence is completely pointless. Even if I wasn't excellent in anything and was just a completely, like, very average human in everything and was like, just did nothing with my life at all. So, still fine, I'm still okay. I'm still a valuable human being. I'm still alive. I'm still fine. Like, I don't need to be excellent for any reason whatsoever. Everything is still completely fine if I don't achieve excellence, but I have this unbelievable drive within me to keep moving forwards like the water. It's completely pointless. Doesn't matter if it gets to the sea or not, but it really wants to get to the fucking sea.
Yeah.
So I'm now inspired by water.
Mad. How old are you in that? When you done that?
19.
Oh, okay. I mean, less impressed now. I'm not. Fantastic story. But, like, I just assume whenever you have these, like, from all of the other stories that you've told me, like, in these podcasts, and also, like, from when I've known you, it's like, I was 9. I was 9 and I was thinking about the journey of water through life and how that... I was like, oh, this one happened when you were an adult. Okay, I'm not asked about this one then.
But does that make sense to you? Like, do I sound like a crackpot?
No, I get it. I
sound like a lunatic.
And not a lunatic. You're just a lot more spiritual than me, and I fucking love that. Like, I love listening to your
I think
brain unravel that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
The water is as important as any human.
Yeah, well, I was just like, that's why I didn't say nothing. Normally I'm like, I've got like that stuff. I love fucking listening to your like fucking spiritual shit. Cause I'm not in it as much. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can get on board with it. Like, I'm not, I've let that wall down now where I'm like, okay, let's, like, whereas you are, and it proper gets you going and like it gets your brain ticking, and like, you've put loads of thought into that. So I just picture you sat by that river, like going in deep on that. And like, that's probably why your meditations go so deep, that you're like, you're meditating about like the life cycle of water and how that relates to your life. And it's like, wow, yeah, you're not on this planet, mate. You've left the Earth. That's why you've left the Earth suit. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I just feel like the water is as much of, so to everyone listening, it probably sounds like, what the fuck are you, like, what are you talking about? But like, to me, the water is just as valuable as you or me. So like, it's not a leap to give that personification. It's not a leap to give the water purpose and start talking about the drive that water has to reach the sea. Because it's just like you and me.
Yeah, it's just the same thing.
It's the same as grass. Grass is like the most dominant species on the planet. Yeah. It's done that on purpose, which sounds mad. Yeah, everyone's gonna be listening. Oh, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
when you start getting into like nature stuff, and then we get into like, when you get into like the life cycle of like Earth and stuff, it's just like, it's
grass
relentless.
did that on purpose. Yeah, it's got a relentless drive.
Yeah,
to dominate the world. It did.
Everything does, doesn't it? Like everything that exists has a relentless drive to be the dominant thing.
Yeah, bacteria, humans, trees, grass.
Yeah,
it's all. We're all competing.
Just competing to be
the best.
Yeah.
So yeah, listen to the water, take notes, people. And we wrap it up there.
Sick.
Flying. Thank you so much for listening. I really enjoyed that. Maybe we should do another sort of podcast like that again in future.
Yeah. Everyone loves a story.
Yeah. Boss. Thank you for listening. See you all next week.